Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Ankit Sharma, and I'm here with your chemistry class of class 8, with your first chapter, matter. Okay, so first we'll revise our yesterday's class in within 5 minutes. So those who are absent in yesterday's class, please pay attention here. Okay. Okay. So let's start with key terms. First is matter. As you know, anything that occupies space and has mass is matter. Second one is atom, the smallest building block of a matter. That is, we call it atom. Okay. And what is molecule? The smallest unit of matter is called a molecule. Okay. And fourth one is intermolecular space. So the space between the particles of a matter, that is known as intermolecular space. Okay, like that space. Okay, like that space between these two atoms, between these two atoms, that is known as intermolecular space. So next one is intermolecular force. Okay, so there is a force exists between two or three between the particles of the matter. Okay, which is known as intermolecular force. That force acts between two particles to attract each other. Okay, the force which the particles of matter attract each other. That force varies according to the states of matter. Okay, solid, liquids, and gases. In solids, that force is stronger. In liquid, that force is weaker than solids, and in gases, that force is negligible. Okay. Now, next one is resistance. Resistance means trying to stop something from happening or doing something. Okay, that is resistance. Now, let's come to introductory part of that chapter. In introduction, all the things, basically all the things of living and no livings are matter. Okay, even air, which is invisible, that is also a matter. So if we look around us, we see a number of things or objects like stone, sand, clay, water, minerals, plants, animals, pens, etc. Even your cell phone. Okay, and this pen. So anything that occupies space and has mass is matter. Let's come to a running topic, that is, which is characteristics of matter. Okay, as
एक
we
मिनट सर, एक मिनट सर। चारुल, चारुल ऐसे घूम के बेटा एक जगह बैठ जाओ। और राजश्री, आपका जो वीडियो है वो स्टार्ट करो। आप दिखाई नहीं दे रहे हो। राजश्री, वीडियो स्टार्ट करो बेटा।
So as we discussed yesterday, matter has following four characteristics. Okay, that first one is particles of matter are very small, and we are also explained this yesterday. We have done that point. Okay, and the second one is particles of matter have interparticle space between them. Okay, we are talking about that interparticle space between them. Okay, so now third one is particles of matter are in constant random motion, and fourth is particle of matter attract each other. So let's move to our first point. Particle of matter are very small. So what we have done yesterday, we perform an activity or an experiment theoretically. Okay, so we take 100 ml of clear water, transparent pure water. Okay, in that water we have dissolved 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate. You can choose a different substance, okay, with a colorful substance or matter. So in place of potassium permanganate, the chemical formula of potassium permanganate is KMNO4. That is a chemical formula. Now, what we have done in this, we have dissolved 2 to 3 crystals in 100 ml of water. Now, After dissolving, we have taken a 10 ml water sample from this solution. Okay. Now, apart this process, we have take another 90 ml of clear water. This is 90 ml of clear water. This is 90 ml of clear water, that is H2O. Okay. Now, what we have done? Now we have mixed that sample of 10 ml into this 90 ml of clear water. Now this solution becomes 100 ml. Okay. And when we mix that 10 ml of that potassium permanganate solution in that water colors change. Okay. But there's a difference. That is in a dark red color, or that is in a lighter red color in comparison with the first, that one beaker. Okay. Now we have to repeat this process two to three or five times. Okay. Then we see variations in color. अपने को तब क्या देखने को मिलेगा, कलर में काफी चेंजेस मिलने को मिलेंगे. ये वाला जो कलर था काफी एकदम रेड मिलेगा, ये इससे कम रेड मिलेगा. आगे जब मिक्स करेंगे इससे 10 ml सैंपल निकल लेके we have taken another 10 ml sample from it. ओके. सो आगे जब भी हम इसे मिक्स करते जाएंगे, सो इसके कलर धीरे धीरे लाइट होता जाएगा. ओके. So what we have conclude from that experiment, okay, we have conclude that result is came out from this experiment is 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate have millions of tiny particles. Okay. उसमें लाखों छोटे छोटे particles थे जो कि आगे नेक्स्ट सॉल्यूशन में और मिक्स करने पे और डिवाइड होते जाते हैं, कम होते जाते हैं. वो लाखों हैं. मोल होते हैं. ओके. और उनको डिवाइड किया जा सकता है, वो फर्दर डिवाइड होते रहते हैं. ठीक है. सो हियर इज द स्टेप्स. ओके. स्टेप 1, टेक 2 to 3 crystals of KMnO4, okay, that is in solid form, and dissolve them into 100 ml of clear water. That water is clear. Now step 2, take out 10 ml of this solution. इस solution को क्या करना है, 10 ml निकाल लेना है, and put 90 ml of clear water. साफ पानी में अपने को दोबारा. Okay. And we have to repeat just 3 to 5 times, or you want the result times. Okay. That depends on shade what you are want to observe.
एक मिनट सर. चारुल आप बैठो बेटा, नोटबुक लेकर के जो पढ़ा रहे हैं सर वो कुछ भी बातें आप नोट भी करते जाओ. चारुल.
So what we observe here, just a few crystals of KMnO4 change the form of a large volume of water. Okay. So that is yesterday's work. Now let's come to our next point, or next topic of that next point of that topic. Particles of matter have interparticle space between them. What is? Particles of matter have interparticle space between them. So that is our second point. Now Mahesh sir, please once unmute them all.
Okay sir. Unmute.
Done sir? Okay.
Done.
Listen carefully beta. You have one glass of water. आपके पास एक गिलास पानी है. Okay. और आपके पास एक चम्मच में 1 टीस्पून आपके पास नमक भी है. ओके. सो अगर आप उस नमक को उस एक गिलास पानी में डिसॉल्व कर दोगे तो क्या उस पानी का लेवल इंक्रीज होगा या फिर नहीं होगा?
No,
I want,
sir.
I want to I want this answer from you. Anybody else? Anybody?
No, sir.
No? Why?
Sir,
Why?
because it,
Yes, yes.
sir, because it dissolves in the water.
Then why the water level is not rising? Why? Justify your answer.
Sir, because the salt dissolve in water.
Okay, dissolve. And how it dissolve? Okay, we will see. Now pay attention with here. That is very interesting topic. Okay, let's mute them all. Now, let's see. We have here one pot or we collect picture. Okay, let's suppose these are the molecules of water or the particles water. Now, that is the water vapor. Okay. Now, see here. There's an interparticle space between them. Okay. Hence, it is a liquid. So there must be interparticle space between them. Okay. Now, when we add a teaspoon of salt, okay, what is salt? NaCl. So it breaks into Na plus and Cl minus. Okay. Once we have add 1 teaspoon of salt in that, then once for a minute, okay, for a second, the water level rises. कुछ सेकंड के लिए क्या होता है, जब तक वो डिसोल्व नहीं होता है तो पानी का लेवल इंक्रीज होता है, water level rises. But once the salt get dissolved, the water level get decreases to its initial level. Okay, जैसा पानी का पहले लेवल था वैसे ही उतना ही लेवल उसका वापस हो जाता है. अब ऐसा क्यों होता है? Why it is happen? So look carefully here. There's a space between the particles of that water. Okay, intermolecular space between there. Okay, so the salt components, okay, Na plus and Cl minus, get adjusted between their space. Okay, it get adjusted here, so that water level does not rises here. Okay, so listen carefully again. When salt is added to water and we stirred, salt particles disappear and we get clear salt solution. This is because when we add salt to water and stir to dissolve, the particles of salt separate out and enter the empty space between the particles. वो कहाँ पे एंटर कर जाते हैं? इन पार्टिकल्स के बीच में जो खाली जगह होती है वो साल्ट वहां चला जाता है और इससे पानी का लेवल भी इंक्रीज नहीं होता है. दैट इज द intermolecular space. Okay, that means particles of matter have empty space between them. Get it? Now let's write that first. We have added. Now let's write that theoretically. Okay. When salt is added to water and stirred, salt particles disappear, and we get clear salt solution. Okay, this is because when we add salt to water, and tear to dissolve to the particles of salt separate out and enter the empty space between the particles. Okay, that means particles of matter have empty space between them. Get it? Now let's start from beginning. Particles of matter have interparticle space between them. Okay, we have to prove that. So for that we have conducted an activity. Okay, uh, when salt is added to water, okay, जब पानी में नमक मिला ऐड किया जाता है, उसमें डाला जाता है और उसको स्टीयर करते हैं अपन, ओके, तब क्या होता है, salt particles are disappear and we get the clear solution. तो कुछ टाइम बाद क्या होता है कि जो पानी जो एकदम क्लियर हो जाता है और सॉल्ट से डिसअपियर हो जाता है. ओके, ये क्यों होता है? दिस इज बिकॉज द पार्टिकल्स ऑफ सॉल्ट सेपरेट आउट. ओके, जो पार्टिकल्स होते हैं सॉल्ट के वो अलग अलग हो जाते हैं, सेपरेट, ऐसे Na प्लस एंड Cl माइनस. ओके, एंड एंटर द एम्प्टी स्पेस बिटवीन द पार्टिकल्स. अब इन पार्टिकल्स के बीच में जो एम्प्टी स्पेस है इनके अंदर चले जाते हैं. ओके, दैट मींस पार्टिकल्स ऑफ मैटर हैव एम्प्टी स्पेस बिटवीन देम, एंड that is our heading, that we have to understand. Okay, so now Mahesh sir, please unmute them all once.
Okay, sir. Done, sir.
That topic is clear, beta?
Yes, sir.
Should we move to our next property? Sure. Okay, let's move to Mahesh sir, mute them all please.
Okay. Done, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Now our next characteristics is particles of matter are in constant random motion. Okay, so first let's write that heading here. Particles of matter are in constant random motion. First, understand this. Okay, what the topic is trying to say. Particles of matter. Okay, जो matter के particles होते हैं, वो always motion में होते हैं. Okay, in liquid and gases. So constant is a term constant. So as you know, constant and variables. Okay, constant and variables. There are two things. So constant, which do not change with the with the respect of time. Okay, जो constant वो चीजें होती हैं जो कभी change नहीं होते हैं. Okay, वो same रहते हैं during the like an experiment and during the process. Okay, वो time के aspect में time के साथ change नहीं होते हैं. That thing are constant. So just remember one thing. Okay, और जब कभी बारिश होती है, so आपने कभी पेपर बोट उसमें बना के चलाई है? अगर चलाई है तो सोचिए कि वो पेपर बोट चलती कैसे है? हवा से? नहीं, हवा से नहीं चलती वो. Because at that time the molecule or the particles of water are moving always. Okay, in liquid. That's why that paper boat is move. Okay, and have you seen any husk or dirt particles? Okay, आपने कोई फुसके और या फिर कोई डर्ट पार्टिकल्स पानी में ट्रेवल करते हुए देखा है? आपने देखा होगा बहुत टाइम. ओके, पॉन्ड और कहीं तालाब में और या कहीं वाटर बॉडीज में ऊपर ऐसे पार्टिकल्स जो कि वाटर से लाइट होते हैं, पानी से हल्के होते हैं, वो वाटर के अपर सरफेस पे ट्रेवल करते हैं. ओके, वो ट्रेवल करते रहते हैं. जैसे कोई डर्ट पार्टिकल्स हो गए या फिर कोई पोलन ग्रेन्स हो गए. ओके, सो why they are traveling? Because their water molecules are always travel. Okay, they are always traveling in a random motion. So to prove that, there's a scientist, okay, named Robert Brown. So let's start the topic. Okay, the scientist named Robert Brown. What is the scientist's name? Robert Brown gave the evidence for the existence and movement of particles in liquids. Robert Brown ने क्या दिए? सबूत दिए हैं इसके. Okay, he gives the evidence. How he gives? Let's study. Okay, so first Robert Brown gave the evidence for the existence and movement of particles in liquids. Okay, so what he does, उन्होंने क्या किया? He suspended some pollen grains in water. Pollen grains or husk particles or dirt particles. Okay, pollen grains in water and look into the water through a magnifying glass. What he does? Let's suppose. Let's make a diagram for that. Okay, so let us zoom that. That is some water body. Okay, ये कोई आप ताला, that is in a pond or something जहाँ पानी इकट्ठा हुआ है काफी. So that is the water. You can assume that are the water droplets or atom of water or particles of water. Okay, now, and what he done, he suspend some pollen grains. So the red droplets, okay, the red droplets are pollen grains or husk particles or dirt particles. Okay, जो रेड वन क्या है वो या तो कोई डर्ट पार्टिकल्स है या कोई अनदर मैटर के पार्टिकल्स है जो कि पानी से हल्के हैं, विच आर लाइटर देन द वाटर मोलिक्यूल्स, वाटर. Okay, that red one. Let's highlight them. No more space. These are the pollen grains or dirt or husk. Okay. Now, what he observed now, he observed that the pollen grains were moving throughout the water in a zigzag manner. Okay. Why it is happen? Because water is made up of tiny particles. Okay. वाटर किससे बना है? टाइनी, छोटे छोटे पानी की बूंदों से. ओके, टाइनी पार्टिकल्स विच आर आल्सो इन रैंडम मोशन, जो भी क्या रहती है, हमेशा एक रैंडम मोशन में रहती है. ओके, द पोलन ग्रेन्स मूव सच अ वे बिकॉज दे कोलाइड विद द मूविंग पार्टिकल ऑफ वाटर. अब ये जो ग्रेन्स है ये क्यों चलते रहते हैं? बिकॉज लेट्स सपोज कि फर्स्ट यहाँ से ट्रेवल करना स्टार्ट किया इस पोलन ग्रेन ने. फर्स्ट इट ट्रेवल हियर टू हियर, देन हियर टू हियर, here to here, here to here, here, then goes here, then here, and then that is the traveling path for these grains, these dirt or the husk particles. Okay, so ये कैसे चलते हैं? Because ये pollen grains क्या करते हैं, जैसे पानी की ड्रॉपलेट्स हैं. ओके, ये पानी के पार्टिकल्स हैं, ये ऑलवेज मूविंग रहते हैं, तो ये एक दूसरे से टकराते रहते हैं. ओके, जैसे ये वाला जो पार्टिकल है वो इससे टकरा गया. साथ ही साथ में क्या होता है कि ये जो कोलाइड वाला जो प्रोसेस है ये इनके साथ भी होता है, इन पार्टिकल के साथ भी होता है. ओके, सो इनसे भी टकराते हैं, जैसे इससे टकरा गया, यहाँ पे कोई है, इससे टकरा गया, तो ये आगे की तरफ मूव होता रहता है. यहाँ ये इससे टकरा गया तो ये यहाँ आगे मूव हो गया, ये इससे टकरा गया तो ये आगे यहाँ मूव हो गया. फिर ऐसे क्या होता है, पानी की बूंदों के साथ साथ ये जो डर्ट पार्टिकल्स है, पोलन ग्रेन्स होते हैं, ये भी क्या होता है, ये साथ साथ में ऊपर ट्रेवल करते रहते हैं. ओके, सो दैट इज द प्रोसीजर. ओके, नाउ राइट द थ्योरेटिकल पोर्शन. So he suspended. I'm talking about Robert Brown. Okay, he suspended. Okay, so मतलब लटकाना. Some pollen grains. Okay, pollen grains means the pollen of the any flower. Okay, any grain, or you can choose another substance here, like some dirt particles. Okay, anything which is lighter than water. Okay, pollen grains in water. I'm keeping this away from it. In water and looked into the water through a magnifying glass. Okay, and he observed that the pollen grains were moving throughout the water in a zigzag manner. Zigzag means टेढ़ा मेढ़ा, जैसे ये सीधा नहीं चलना, zigzag, okay, टेढ़ा मेढ़ा चलना. So why it is happen? Because pay attention here. Water is made up of tiny particles. Water is made up of tiny particles which are also in random motion. Okay, why they are random motion? Because in liquids है ना, particles are free to move one place to another place. Okay, क्योंकि liquid में particles free होते हैं एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाने के लिए, liquid and gases में. And solids में क्या करते हैं, सिर्फ वो अपनी mean position पे vibrate करते हैं, वो allowed नहीं होते एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाने के लिए. So in random motion. Okay, so the pollen grains move each way because they collide. Collide means टकराना with the moving particle of water. Okay, now that process, okay, that complete process is known as Brownian motion. That complete process is known as Brownian motion. Okay, so I'm practicing using a black pen. Okay, that random motion of suspended particles on the surface of a liquid or in air also, okay, or in air is called Brownian motion. Okay, beta. So, Melissa, please unmute them all once.
Okay, sir.
Unmuted, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beta. Any doubts in the topic? Ask one by one. The topic is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If there any doubt, please ask me. No? Ask me once, twice, thrice. I will explain you. Okay. Study it. Okay. And if you face any difficulty, then ask me tomorrow. Okay, beta. Let's move to a last characteristics of that topic, which is that one. Particles of matter attract each other. Okay. So Melissa, please mute कर दीजिए सभी को.
Done, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Now, last characteristics is fourth one. That is particle of matter attract each other. Okay. So, as we know, as we studied the intermolecular force, okay. So, there is a force, the force with which the particles of matter attract each other, that is intermolecular force, okay. So, there exists a force of attraction between the particles of matter, which keeps them together, जो कि उनको साथ में रखता है, okay. But the magnitude of force varies from one type of matter to another type. How it is varies, beta? Like you can break easily a piece of chalk. आप एक chalk के टुकड़े को easily तोड़ सकते हो, okay? And if कोई clay से कुछ बना है, मिट्टी से कुछ बना, आप easily उसको break कर सकते हो. But it's difficult to break a piece of steel, okay? Because there's a strong intermolecular force exists between the particles of the steel material, okay. So that's why it varies one matter to another material, one material to another material, okay. That is very easy topic. So there exists a force of attraction between the particles of matter, which keeps them together, okay. But the magnitude, okay, the strength of that force, that magnitude, the magnitude of force varies from one type of matter to another, okay. For example, a piece of chalk can be broken into pieces very easily, okay. While a piece of coal requires a greater force to break, and a metal piece of copper or steel cannot be broken easily, okay. That is example we have studied orally just before sometime later, okay. So write it here. A piece of chalk can be broken into pieces very easily, while piece of coal requires a greater force to break, okay. And a metal piece of copper or steel cannot be broken easily, okay. So that is the particle of matter attract each other. Okay, that is the force. That is the force between the particles. Okay, let's assume these are the particles. So there's a force between. Okay, there is enough force acting between these particles to keep them together. There's enough force, okay, between each of the particle. So that is the force, okay, which keeps them together. That force is known as intermolecular intermolecular force. Okay, we have studied it. We have already covered it. So that is the fourth topic, or characteristics of the matter. Particles of matter attract each other. Now, Mesa, please unmute them all once.
Okay, sir. Done, sir.
Beta, any down? The topic is clear, beta.
Yes.
Yeah, time is over now, sir, for today's class.
हाँ सर, टाइम ओवर हो गया.
Okay.
10:17 हो गए.
I'm making your homework, beta. Homework for today. Hmm. The characteristics of matter. So tomorrow I will check all the work, okay, notebook which I will teaching from last 2 days. Okay, I will check tomorrow all the work. So be prepared with it. Everyone,
Yes, sir.
do that work, and also I will ask those two questions which I given in 2 days, last 2 days. That one question is that
Yes.
characteristics of matter, okay, and a definition of matter, and those keywords, okay, those 4 or 5 keywords of that chapter. Okay? That is enough for today. We'll meet again tomorrow. Okay, beta. Bye. Have a good day.